Ici Londres.
Here's the great paradox as the Brexit negotiations get underway. The people in Britain who love the EU the most are by and large the people who are now telling us that it will be nasty. Look, I totally I concede that there are some bellicose Eurosceptics. There are some people looking to turn every dot and comma of these talks into a row. I don't think they're representative of the 52%, but sure, they exist, and you might expect that. What's much more surprising is the number of people who have spent decades telling us that the EU is an irenic peace project, that it's all about cooperation and brotherhood, and yet who now tell us that it will act in an irrational and self-harming way out of sheer spite. I'm glad to say that the pessimists on both sides, so far, appear to be completely wrong. Look behind some of the alarmist headlines, and there is a remarkable proximity between the British and European positions. Let's look at the actual text of the EU's response to Theresa May's letter triggering Article 50, rather than some of the more vivid headlines it's generated. Brussels says it wants reciprocal guarantees to settle the status of EU nationals in Britain and of UK nationals in the EU. So does London. Brussels says it wants a balanced, ambitious and wide-ranging free trade agreement. So does London. Brussels says it wants a partnership in other areas, in particular the fight against international terrorism and crime, as well as security and defence. So does London. Brussels says it wants to avoid a hard border in Ireland. So does London, and so, for that matter, does Dublin. And on the vexed question, which had exercised so much energy about whether there would have to be a deal on the withdrawal process before there was a beginning of the trade talks, well, again, it's very clear that although the one will begin before the other, the two will be carried out concurrently. And again, to quote from the letter, nothing is agreed until everything is agreed. In other words, we can expect a cordial and courteous process. It's not going to be completely smooth, of course it's not. But we can reasonably expect that both sides will act according to their own self-interest, and the self-interest of each side involves the prosperity and security of its allies. After all, wealthy neighbours make the best customers. So please, let's drop all of this language about conflict or even warfare. If there's a conflict to be had, it's not against our allies in the European Union. It's against the poverty that would follow if we fail to maximise the gains to both sides through a free trade deal and inflict an unnecessary loss of income on people on both sides of the Channel.